to the
Next to
Dallas
Meek
game,
Mill.
right?
You guys can smile whenever you want now. And then, Jeff, you could take it away.
All right. Hopefully you got it.
Before my dog started whining, he was literally sleeping just until now.
Dude, we'll do a little NEPA recap too, if that's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right, here we go. All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast. This is Moose along with Mays and Matthews on this Ryder Cup hangover week. I'm spent. I'm emotionally and physically drained. Like, I don't know how any of those guys could play in a golf tournament this week. And it's more of the European guys that are, I guess, the party continues. But we have so much to get into. How are you guys feeling after the Ryder Cup?
Well, I had Europe, so I'm kind of happy about what transpired. But I tell you, this event brings out, I tweeted this, I believe, that this event brings out the worst and the best in the participants, it seems, every 2 years. It's such an emotional thing that these guys, we're going to talk about all this situation, but how many cringeworthy moments can you have in a golf tournament? I mean, when these guys celebrate,
they're so out of character.
When these guys get pissed
never
off,
see them
I
like
cringe.
this. Yeah,
it's a weird thing. I guess it just must be the gravity of the moment and the situation and everything that's at stake that drives these guys temporarily insane, including caddies.
Yeah. We'll get into that. Obviously, that turned into the biggest story. But Danielle, what are your just kind of overall takeaways? Yeah.
Well,
what are your just kind of like, how did you view things?
Yeah, I mean, from a golf standpoint, and like you said, how we feeling, and it's exhausting. We had technically from the tour a 2-week break, which obviously we had the NEPA Invitational where I saw you guys roll right into the Ryder Cup. So it was just like overload of golf, having to wake up. I mean, did you guys wake up to watch golf? What?
No, I refuse.
Yeah, just
I set the
DVR'd it.
DVR.
I don't always sleep, so I was up a couple of nights just because I was up. So
well, same. I caught a couple. I think was it Friday night that I was able to watch a little bit, but other than that, I'm like, I'm not waking
the
up.
The earlier you're up, the worse it was for USA. So like there wasn't
Mhm.
much to watch in the early rounds because they just jumped on that team.
I woke up, it was 4-0 Europe. I'm like, yes, let's
back
go.
to sleep. Oh.
Yeah.
He's like, let's go. I'm making money. Moose and I are like back to bed.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some of the storylines. First of all, let's start with the captains. I've never been the biggest Zach Johnson fan. I just, I don't know. I don't think he is a leader of men. No. But I mean, could Luke Donald come off any better in any aspect of from speaking Italian in the opening to just his demeanor, the way that he interacts with players, and also it's so different for that team. I mean, the Miles with the Seve situation it's insane, right? Like what they get out of that, like the emotional lift they get and how bonded they are. It's two different. It's USA is like, let's send our best guys out and just try to beat you. And Europe is like, let's be together, be a team, and we're going to beat you. Right. It's just two completely different, setups.
Yeah. It really is. And I'm blown away. You brought up the Seve thing. I'm blown away by how this guy, Seve's been gone for 11, 12 years. And yet, they still can bring this up and put a locker in there and get the emotions out of these players. It's just remarkable to me. I mean, I was thinking like, why doesn't the U.S. do something with Arnold Palmer or something like to try to invigorate, the same thing? I don't know if it probably wouldn't work, because like you said, Moose, our guys are just wired a little bit differently, unfortunately. But when you talk to a guy like Shane Lowry, who hasn't been having the best of year on the PGA Tour, and how way he speaks about the Ryder Cup, like that guy's got Ryder Cup pajamas. He's got Ryder Cup sheets. He's got Ryder Cup underwear. I mean, it means everything to him, probably more than the Open Championship victory that he has.
Yeah. I mean, it pours through them. You can see it. It really does. Well,
I wanted to show you guys this real quick on the Sev. The inside, we put it up on Brad saying the inside of all their clothes that they wore, they had the silhouette of Sev right there. Like, how cool is that? Oh yeah. Right on the inside there.
Oh, that's
incredible.
incredible.
Some of the little things like that you hear coming out of Team Europe, like it just is remarkable.
Luke Donald was terrific. I mean, and especially he didn't get the full 2 years because Henrik Stenson was supposed to be the captain, and then he bolts for Liv. And think about that. Think about what he gave up for a couple $1 million, which he probably could have gotten some of it back through whatever. If he won the Ryder Cup as the captain, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he gave
and I tweeted this too, because I feel like the Liv situation greatly helped the European team and hurt the US team.
Absolutely.
Right? Because there was a boys club on the European side, right? Poulter and Westy and these guys, and they weren't playing great golf.
They were all old.
But they had to be on the team, right? But now that decision did not have to be made. They said from the beginning they weren't going to do it. And now you see, Ludwig Albert.
Yeah, that's another thing we learned, right?
Yeah,
Nikolai
Hogard, right? Robert McIntyre, who played incredible. Like these guys finally, because I said it, like when they were in Whistling Straits, I remember thinking, man, our bench is so much deeper with young talent, but they were just kind of blocked and we couldn't really see them, right? And on our side, you can't tell me Dustin Johnson forgot how to play golf because he's playing on Live. You can't tell me Bryson DeChambeau couldn't have been playing much better. And he's a guy that would like drive them nuts that should have been on that team. So I feel like that really threw things off. Not that
maybe Taylor Gooch, who knows, but you're exactly right.
Yeah. But people are like, should they blow it up? I love it because if you do win on foreign soil, it is even greater of an accomplishment. So like, I'm okay with it. The course setup stuff is wild too. When they said, they can't change everything because there's individual players, but the overwhelming stat was the US team was significantly better than them at wedge play.
Right.
So they set up the course to take the wedge out of their hands on pretty much every hole, which was wild. And you saw it play out.
Talk about analytics there. I mean, and that was Eduardo Molinari. Apparently he's the stat guy.
Yeah. Yeah. They gave him a lot of credit, which was cool.
Dodo, they call him.
Dodo. Yeah. How long was that bus ride is what I want to know for the European team.
Oh, because those videos that somebody like put that on Instagram, they're like, is this a 3-hour bus ride? Like,
I thought they were driving McIntyre back to Scotland because it was, I never seen anything like it. There were multiple songs, performances. I'm like, where
maybe
are these
they were
guys
just doing
going?
laps or something, from around the hotel.
Maybe.
Literally just a circle going around.
Well, let's talk about some of the individual performances. Obviously the one that stands out to me is Scheffler and Brooks Koepka just getting boat raced 9-7.
9-7.
The worst loss in the history of the Ryder Cup with world number one, who going into this is like has a new putting coach and, it doesn't seem like himself, but you don't expect that out of Brooks either. But I mean, geez.
Yeah. And, they didn't really use Koepka, I think, in the proper form either. Having him going out 7th in singles, that's a guy you want right out, in the first 2 or 3 tee times to get him out there as an alpha dog and have him put a point up on the board early. I mean, I thought that was a big mistake by Zach Johnson, putting Burns with Scheffler in the first match of foursomes. Are you kidding me? I mean, Sam Burns he didn't really deserve to be on the team. If it weren't best buddies with Scheffler, he wouldn't have been on the team.
And that is one of the biggest things I took away from this. Did you guys see Justin Rose's quote?
Yes.
Where he said, for Team Europe, it's not about playing with your buddy or your best friend. It's about getting the best matchup that's going to get the most out of this team. And I think that is a massive difference, right? Burns is with Scheffler because Burns and Scheffler like each other. JT and Spieth are together because they like that shouldn't come into strategy on how you're going to win. Now, does sometimes that help if you're closer and you play well with somebody? Of course. But when it goes bad, it just seems worse.
Yeah. Which just goes back to, like you said, the captain's approach and organization. Like I remember Luke, like you said, Harry, he found out late, but he's been meticulously planning, thinking this out, like those matchups. And it wasn't the boys are together.
Right. Yeah. And Spieth was horrible. I mean, he drugged JT down. He really did. I didn't think JT played that badly.
JT was 2-on-1 a lot of times.
Yeah.
It was like Greeny and a member guest with me. He was by himself out there a lot of holes. Spieth was in pocket.
Yeah. Right? Well, then there was this rumor that they were all sick. We had some banter going between our texts. Obviously, we've seen it all over social media. But then someone said Ricky had this terrible sinus infection. And then Johnson's like, no, he doesn't. He doesn't fit into these matches. Like we didn't see Ricky.
Then they did say they had to test him for COVID every day because it was like that's what they thought it was. But
he didn't look right.
I'm telling you, when I saw those guys come out on the first tee in the morning, they looked sick.
Yeah.
Right. And we've been there. It sucks, right? Like, listen, it's not an excuse. It's a cold, whatever it was. But like, I get sinus infections, man, and I'm not playing golf that day when I feel my worst. Right.
And your head is just
and people are screaming and hollering. So there was
But
definitely
USA
something.
expects a flu game. It's still,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
figure it out.
Yep. I mean,
But yeah, Johnson did say we're thankful for a team doctor, so nobody really knows what was
No,
going
there was
on.
a lot of fake news being reported. I mean,
How about
Steve
that?
Sands. I mean, are
So
you kidding
much.
me?
My God.
What happened to have a source or two, right?
Yeah.
What happened to that? Well, social media doesn't matter.
What
but the
journalism
fact that it
school
gets
did you go to?
Exactly. Not Temple.
That's right.
So,
Not Cochran.
obviously that comes out about Cantlay,
Yep.
which do I think those guys want to get paid? Probably, because there's hundreds of millions of dollars and somebody's making money. Why shouldn't the talent make some of it who are performing, right?
Yeah.
Like, listen, I get it. It's for country. It shouldn't matter. But then it should be free to go, right? And there should be no commercials, right? If that's
the
case,
commercials,
right? Because we'll get
Oh.
into the coverage, because everybody's making money, and I don't fault those guys for wanting to do it. It didn't stop them from going. That's not why he didn't wear the hat. He didn't wear the hat in Whistling Straits. His got a crazy shaped head with giant cab door open ears.
Yeah.
Not all hats are going to fit you, right?
He should wear a ski cap.
Hey, we talk about hats
He
not
had to
fitting
keep the
us in here.
tan.
Yeah.
He had to keep the tan right for the wedding.
Yeah.
You can't go in there with a hat tan in Rome and get married. Nikki would have killed him, Danielle. Imagine your wedding if Brandon rolls in with a Stuart Sink tan line on his head. You'd be like, dude, get out of here.
Yeah.
Right?
What are you doing? Some of these I saw. Okay, our guy Eric Cole. I know we're gonna veer off a little bit here, but talking about those tan lines, look at their engagement photos. It is straight across. I'm like, Stephanie, she's like, whatever. She's like,
I mean, they have this thing now where you can like rub on a tan onto your skin.
Yeah, like bronzer.
Or just Photoshop it. Like send them over to me. I'll polish it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to do that. I'd have to send that to you.
Well, you have the Lima. Yeah, you have the live-in.
She doesn't know how
artist.
to do that either.
Wow, we got to get her onto that now.
No.
Well, the funny part was like, it starts off with now listen, I am a no sock, suit guy. So I'm not going to bash it. But if you have ridiculous feet golf tan lines, you probably shouldn't do it. It looked crazy. So I think they lost the tournament there
at the
right on the
ceremony.
Spanish steps with their ankles showing with those tan lines. But I digress.
Yeah, I'm with you. But the guy that put that out there about Cantlay and the fracture in the locker room, Jamie Weir, and he's from Sky Sports. I mean, he's a reputable name, but he's also like a good buddy of one Rory McIlroy. Ooh. So if you want to plan a story that might, start something, wouldn't it be, that's the perfect story to put out there. Hey, their locker room's a mess. They're a mess, and knowing that gets around, and then the crowd starts getting on Cantlay, which happened and led to all of this.
Oh my God, they were all
that led to every single thing. That led to the car park fight with like, hold me back, Rory, give me a break.
Oh, did you see all the memes and audios over top of it? Like,
yeah.
They did a Lucky Charms one that if you didn't see it.
I'm recalling the early 80s hit. You can dance if you want to. You can leave your soul behind. Men Without Hats. I'm thinking about that stupid band.
It's in your head. Because Jamie Weir planted it in everyone's head. And the crowd was roasting Cantlay.
Roasting. All right. So we got to get into Joe LaCava because I had no problems with anything right up until the time he went back at Rory while he's, crouched over his putt finally. Because while he was doing it, Rory's walking all around the green. Like he's not getting ready to putt. Like, I don't know what he said to him to set him off. But then when it's done, it should be done, right? Like you're the caddy, you shouldn't go back to the player while he's getting ready to make his putt. But then it explodes. Lowry comes down. He's screaming back at Lowry.
Yeah.
Bones is trying to be the peacemaker. He took a lot of shrapnel just for being the peacemaker, it seems.
He's such a nice guy.
I know, but just a wild, wild scene.
It had to be like temporary insanity. Like if I'm Joe LaCava, who's got a great reputation prior to this. I mean, Freddie Couples was his original boss, who's right off the 18th green. He should have said something to him because he looked like a damn fool. I mean, with the stupid hat. I mean, come on,
waving
bro.
like he's Mr. America.
Right. It's not about you.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Go back to Jack Nicklaus. Show up, keep up, and shut up. Those are the three things you want out of your cat.
Be that as it may, if the three of us walked 18 holes with our person, our boss, our friend, getting completely crapped on and being yelled the most vile, vulgar stuff for 18 holes, I don't know how I would react personally. Right. I might have taken somebody into the lake with me. Right. I don't know. So I can't put myself in a situation because we said this tournament makes people go nuts to begin with.
You know what?
How would you, Danielle, imagine somebody's yelling at Brandon for 18 holes.
I've already, even like US Open, I had like this chick next to me being like, oh, his pants are too tight. It's TK, it's this and that. And I'm just like, no, because I don't want to be that crazy wife on
Right.
Twitter
You
or
don't want to
social
be the
media or whatever
story.
that pops off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
But now
this
put
isn't.
yourself in with 100,000 European fans screaming at you for 3 hours
Well, and if I'm a
straight. I don't know
caddy and
how
it's
I'd
not my
react.
relationship or something, I'd probably
Yeah.
be I mean, I have a little Philly in me. So
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
New York.
I might,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, just so much. I mean, you look at, the person that drove me crazy the most was Wyndham Clark. Because if you're going to pop off in a press conference and give people bulletin board material, you better back it up. And he went 1-1-1, and he looked like a fish out of water sometimes. The guy's driving accuracy at some point just is brutal. But he did not show up. If you're going to talk all that crap, show
Yeah.
up and
You
get
got to back it
points.
up with your game.
And yeah, exactly. Like Homa did. Well, Homa didn't say anything. He
Right.
just played well. He handled every press conference well. I mean, he was
He
the
came off the
star.
best.
Yeah,
He came off the best.
100%.
3-1-1.
Yeah.
He just was the star, and he's developing into a leader for this team, which is what they need because of his personality and the way he plays golf.
Yeah. And how about the fact he had to take an unplayable on that 18th
Wild.
hole, chips it down there, and then makes the putt? I mean, that was really impressive.
Clutch.
Yeah. I mean,
And
the
his
first
reaction
day,
is great.
like the putting, like they could not miss a shot, the European team.
Yeah.
I don't care
Chipping
if,
in from everywhere.
Yeah, I don't care if the US team was, hopped up on B12 shots and the healthiest they've ever been in their lives. Like, Hatton goes unbeaten 3-0-1, Hovland unbeaten 3-0-1, Rahm unbeaten 2-0-1, Fleetwood 3-1-0, McIntyre 2-0-1, and then you have Spieth 0-2-0. Ricky Fowler, was he there? Like, has anyone seen him? Is he missing still? 0-2-0.
Oh,
Harman
we've seen him the
2-1.
last day.
Colin
Scheffler 0-2-2. I mean, your best player, the best player in the world, got you 1 point. That's it.
Yeah, and Morikawa was way off.
Look at that stat. Best player in the world got you 1 point.
1 point.
Crazy.
Incredible.
Craziness. But it just sets up for the drama of what will be at Bethpage.
Oh, that's going to be insane.
When I was there a couple months ago, that's all I thought about, right? They already had the merch shop set up with Ryder Cup gear. And as I'm walking the course, I'm thinking how it's going to be, where the people are going to be. It's going to be a fun one. There's no doubt about it.
The amphitheater there at that 17th hole, the par 3, was off the charts for the US Open. I can't imagine what it will be like.
That's a crazy hole too.
Yeah.
When you stand on that tee box, you're like, what do I do?
Yeah, you're right.
All you see is sand and hills. You're like, I'm just going home. Like, this isn't for me.
Yeah, that will be insane. But getting back to Joe LaCava, maybe we can blame it on the fact that he's a New York Giants fan, and they are maybe the worst football team in the NFL right now. So
he's just
had to endure a lot of bad football, and maybe it just drove him nuts for 30 seconds.
Did you see the meme with him on the boat? The famous boat picture with Odell Beckham Jr. That they're like,
they put him in there.
Since they put LaCava.
Did they really? You got to send me that.
That's amazing. It's amazing. And the other little bit of drama, which I don't know how you get yourself taken into this, is the Brooks Rahm drama, right? Like,
oh yeah,
how do you think that that's going to come off when you say that, right? Know the guy, and it's what the weird part is no one knew what he was talking about for a day and a half. Everyone was speculating. People thought he meant hitting a board was like hitting the hole too hard.
Right.
Come to find out, on 17 before that, he hit an actual sideboard on the tee box.
Right.
And Brooks had a comment.
Don't be a baby.
And he did it at a big tournament earlier in the year, going into the scorer's tent. He knocked it over.
Yeah, that's it. We all play with guys like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's playing at the highest level for the most money and the most pride. So that's who he is. He's a fiery.
You're
Spaniard.
representing your country. Like you're gonna have a little emotion, and like whether it's hitting a club, throwing your ball, or
But
like you said, we all play with somebody like that.
I think it's the lack of playing in a team concept that makes these guys wacky and makes them say stuff that any other team locker room would be like, dude, why are you giving them anything for fuel?
Right.
Like any other team, you would build up that, that knowledge base of, I'm not going to say that even if I want to, because that's going to fire them up. Like they don't, these guys don't care. I don't think they get it.
And speaking of a comparison to other sports, how about the JT thing? He came off looking like a punk on Sunday, by the way, I thought. And, doffing the invisible cap every time he, make a putt on a green. They're getting their butts kicked. It'd be like somebody celebrating a sack in the fourth quarter, down 4 touchdowns. You're like, dude, that doesn't happen. Yeah, exactly.
Scoreboard. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't even really think about that, but I did see his post, and he was like, there's nothing like the Ryder Cup. So much passion, emotion poured out, between teams for 3 days. He's like, you win as a team, you lose as a team. He finished it up at the end of it. Congrats to Team Europe on the victory. They played incredible, a little too well, in my opinion. So he kind of was like, okay, I understand. We got annihilated.
They certainly did.
They did.
He probably, again, the emotions and, almost like you were saying, not a team sport at the end, he was probably just trying to have fun because they were getting mushed so much.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. They really did. All right. Anything else from the Ryder Cup that we didn't hit? Well, 16.5 to 11.5 was the score. And in Whistling Straits, it was 19-9. I'm pretty impressed with the fight that the guys did show on Sunday, though. Like, that impressed me, right? Mathematically, it's like, how do we do this? But they won some points, right? Yeah. And they really, there's guys that really showed up, and I was impressed by that.
The Scheffler-Rahm match was just a joy to watch, man.
That was incredible.
Rahm is quickly becoming, one of the guys that I can't take my eyes off him when he's on the golf course. I mean, he is just so competitive, and watching him, he could be in a bad lie in the rough,
creative,
and he's going to get that iron shot within 10 feet of the pin. It's just unbelievable what he pulls off.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. He was that match was incredible to watch. That set the tone for the day.
We do have to talk about how it ended, though, because there was so much controversy with that too. Ricky Fowler conceding Tommy Fleetwood a 2-foot 8-inch.
You don't concede anything to Tommy Fleetwood with it when he's got a putter in his hand.
It's a putt to win the Ryder Cup, so make him putt it, right? However,
I'm going to need to see that, dog.
Yeah, right. But Europe had just secured its 14th point and was a half a point away from winning. So it came down to what, like Sepp and JT, Shane, Lowry, and Jordan Spieth.
McIntyre against Clark.
And, and then of course Fleetwood and I almost called him Flower and Ricky Fowler. But the situation was, if Fowler misses a putt, Europe wins. If Fowler makes and Fleetwood makes, Europe wins.
Right.
Like, so essentially it came down to data golf at the time pegged the chance of the US flipping all 4 of those matches at 0.1%.
Right.
It just wasn't going to happen.
Telling us there's a chance.
So,
I think Ricky just said, I can't leave. Wyndham Clark is going to blow this, so I'm just going to give it to them now.
I think, Ricky's legacy as a nice guy, just it is again. You know what I mean? He was like, hey.
He was probably trying to win that Nicholas Jacklin Award.
Well, he's great friends with Jack and Barbara Nicholas, and Jack is known for the concession a long time ago, as among many other things. So maybe there's something to that
in the back, yeah.
And wasn't he given a 10-foot putt by Fleetwood just earlier because he never putted? I thought that was like a concession also.
Oh.
Well, maybe he had two to win that. I forget. I'm drawing a blank on that. He may have had 2 putts to win. So
yeah, that would make sense.
Or tie. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd have to go back and see it.
But on the concession, I thought it was pretty great because Straka said, he's like, when Fleetwood closed it out, I was on 18 grade. He's like, he robbed me the chance of my moment. But then he went on to say he was joking and it was pure joy and everything else. But I thought it was pretty funny. You could see like just the camaraderie between Team Europe was pretty high.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
They came into it more likable to me, and the Ryder Cup has now transpired. They absolutely are more likable as a team. Homa has gone, from here in my book, to the moon.
I mean,
he's big Homa guy.
Yeah, I'm a huge Homa guy. He's got to win a major next year. Maybe making that putt will give him the belief that he needs to get him over the line, because that's the only thing holding him back.
That's funny because I remember before the President's Cup, when he made that team and they interviewed him, he's like, I don't know. He's like, I've never really like fist pumped when I've made a putt in competition. Like he said, once I got there, throw that all out the window. Like it's amazing what this event and events like this President's Cup, Ryder Cup do to these guys.
Oh yeah. That emotion and I think I don't know who it was that put it out, but one of the other players on that Team USA was just saying how much emotion that Max had and how great he is and what an asset he is to have on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. We talked about how Team Europe was coming in having played some golf during the month of September.
Yep.
They all played in that BMW event and played well. And you looked at the three guys on the American team, JT, Homa, and Koepka, all played golf in September. The two, played in Napa. And then, of course, Koepka played the week before in Chicago in the Live event. Didn't play all that well, but he at least played. And, he ended up getting a point and a half, I think. But the bottom line is the guys that were out for 4 or 5 weeks of no competitive golf played like crap.
Yeah. Yeah. And I did see something that said like most of the U.S. team didn't play before Whistling Straits too, but it's different, right?
That's at home.
That's at home, right? This is on the road. You should have been over there playing this course more. I believe there were a couple guys that did not play a practice round. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought I heard.
I think only a few of them went over right before Napa and played 2 days or something like that, and then played Napa, and then back.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what though. I mean, is there anything better than just like the scenery and the footage from Rome? Like, could you have a more incredible
major
place?
FOMO?
I'm telling you, the whole time I'm like, why am I not there? Now there are plans in the works to head to Ireland to Adair Manor in 4 years.
Oh yeah,
because I think that's
team trip.
Incredible. So we'll be in touch. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Swing It and Ding It. As we went through our Ryder Cup recap. Howard, what was that last stat you just said about our boy Zach Johnson's captain's picks?
His captain's picks went 4, 12, and 4.
Pretty good. I was upset about some of the automatic picks more than the captain's picks, honestly.
Yeah. But what do you think about, before we get moving to something else, though? I know we got some tea to spill. Going back to 10 picks based on the rankings and only 2 captain's picks.
Yeah, I mean, that's, to me, it's like I don't know why people get mad at captain's picks. Like, if there weren't captain's picks, then the top 12 guys would make it. That's there for a reason, to pick guys that you think are going to, mesh well and play well in that situation. So I still think
you like 6.
Yeah, because it falls on the captain then, right? I think the captain's more important, and I think him picking those guys is. Now, if it were a couple more, I'd be okay with it. Yeah.
Who's the next captain? Who
are they saying is in
they're
line?
saying Tiger Woods possibly. I don't know about that, but it would be great. Tiger won a U.S. Open there. This would have set up perfectly for Phil Mickelson before he drove a wedge between him and the tour.
Yeah.
Does Freddie Couples finally get moved up to being a Ryder Cup captain? He's been a President's Cup captain several times, and he's been a vice captain many times on the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
He's well liked.
It would be amazing if it was Tiger.
Oh, right? It would.
I think you need a spark, and there's no bigger spark.
Not the greatest Ryder Cup player, though, over the course of his history. But
but a captain, and then like Team USA, like you can't let Tiger down. I mean, that's
right.
Yeah. In New York and Bethpage, like that would just be.
I could just see him driving around in a golf cart on Bethpage, man, with the camera in the golf cart.
Well, I wonder if he's not taking I wonder if he would just walk, because he's so stubborn. He won't take the golf cart.
He's like, no, I'm walking, limping.
I'm not doing crotch cam on the golf cart. I mean, who designed that? Like, there are ways that you could put up a little tripod and have it.
Yeah.
You're literally aiming right up the guy's crotch.
I don't need to see Zach Johnson man spreading in a golf cart.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, not at all. Not at all. I prefer to see Luke Donald in that situation personally. I just, I find him more attractive.
Now, would he wear socks or not?
You have to. Yeah, you'd have to in that situation. Yeah, Danielle, save us. Spill some tea, please.
Spill some tea. All right, we'll do just a little tea, staying on the Ryder Cup, and then I'm going to switch it to the Corn Ferry, get back to my roots here with you guys. But obviously, we talked about Patrick Cantlay and Hatgate, with the rumor of that he wasn't wearing the hat because he refused to, because he wanted to get paid. When he was asked about that in that presser, he obviously debunked that and then continued that he was getting married tomorrow and that he was so excited. So him and Nikki got married at the St. Regis in Rome. And by the looks of the comments that I saw, we saw that JT was in attendance. Jessica Korda, who is pregnant, by the way. I didn't follow her previously. And when I clicked on it, I go, whoa, okay, she was there and she's pregnant. So she's a little T there. And then Zach Johnson and some others were also at the Cantlay wedding, but it seemed pretty intimate for the most part. A lot of the other tea we kind of already got out. by discussing Ryder
Do
Cup.
we
But
know
let's
who the other guys that were there from the team were there?
I,
I'm sure
all.
Xander.
Oh yeah, those
But
two
there's
are
no
like
pictures
this.
of like the wedding party. All I see are pictures of them individually and like blurred out crowd
Yeah,
shots.
and some of my friends that had went, they weren't allowed to take their phones like past I think like the entryway. So
Wow,
yeah.
it's like a Kevin Hart comedy
Jeez.
special.
Yeah. Hey, I said at
Lock
my
your
wedding,
phone
I
up.
was like, hey, it's unplugged, but I looked at the audience, everyone's like, yeah. I was like, all right, they can't read, it's fine. Maybe security was a little tighter there, but all I saw was Zach Johnson and JT, and Xander had to be. Those two are like best friends. So other than that, they're the only few that I saw.
Yeah, he didn't show up for the Ryder Cup, but at least he showed up for the wedding.
You know, hey.
Yeah.
But good for them. So moving on to Corn Ferry, the race for number one this Sunday, it will all come down to this weekend. Final opportunity to move into the top 30 as PGA Tour cards will be awarded on Sunday. We have 16 of the 30 who have locked it up. There's no chance of anything adjusting that they can't not get their cards anymore. They're just jockeying. For the race for number one would be Alejandro Tosti, Ben Silverman, Ben Coles, Chan Kim, or Rico Hui. So we will see this weekend where that comes out to. The number one player on the season-ending Corn Ferry Tour points list earns, as you guys know, fully exempt PGA Tour status for the 2024 season and will qualify for the 2024 U.S. Open and Players Championship. The top 30 players on the season-ending Corn Ferry Tour points list will earn 2024 PGA Tour membership. Number 2 through 30 begin the 2024 season in a Corn Ferry Tour graduates category, which is a little bit different this year than we saw last year. And then the top 60, numbers 31 through 60 on the season-ending Corn Ferry Tour points list will earn direct access to final stage of PGA Tour Q School, presented by Corn Ferry, of course, and the top 5 finishers in that and ties at the final stage of Q School will earn 2024 PGA Tour membership. So we're going to see a lot of new rookies after Sunday, figuring out who's coming through and who we're going to be seeing next year. So there's Grayson Murray, Pearson Cootie's on there. We have Max Gracerman. Let's see who else we have. Tom Whitney's 17 right now. But a couple names that we've discussed and talked about on the show. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. And if you guys don't, I would go on and follow the Corn Ferry Tour. They've been doing a lot of the older, like they put up Max Homa when he earned his card and, Smotherman and everything else. So it's pretty cool to be following kind of the next graduate class, if you will.
Yeah, and I think Moose's guy, Grayson Murray, is suffering a little back injury right now, is dealing with some issues.
I'll tell you what. If I shed this 15 to 17 handicap and ever make it onto the Corn Ferry or the PGA Tour in my late years, Kip Henley's on my back because he is a defender of the throne. Yeah. Like there is no one more supportive of their guy than Kip. I mean, it is unbelievable. And I mean, isn't that what you would want in that situation, to have someone that's got your back, right?
The Henleys in general are amazing. Brandon had his brother on the bag for a little bit, and same thing. I mean, those guys make you feel like you can run through a wall, like the confidence, like you got this, like nobody hit shots like that. Like just
we need to have Kip back on soon. Maybe after the Corn Ferry Finals or maybe the first PGA Tour event, we got to get Kip back on. He was still one of my favorite guests of all time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you talked about Q School, Danielle. If you're into books, John Feinstein wrote a great book years ago. I highly recommend it. Tales from Q School: Inside Golf's Fifth Major. It's fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah, text me that. I'm gonna definitely have to read that. I've heard this no less than 10 times before that Q School is the hardest interview on earth, harder than like an interview with Elon or somebody else, but it's literally you're playing golf for your career, like to move up to status, and it's either you get one chance per year to make it, and there's 4 stages.
Yeah.
Pressure. Talk about pressure. How about the Korean squad? They get the win, and
how about it?
I mean,
I love those guys.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, and it didn't look like it to them. I mean, I don't know how things work, let's face it, but how could you not be more relieved and not have to go into 2-year military service in the middle of
the prime of your career?
Yeah.
Siwoo and Sungjae, good job out of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the sixth major, the NEPA Invitational.
Right.
I mean, that's
Let's
where
recap that.
Danielle, first of all, thank you for setting stuff up and getting us up there and the hospitality and everything, but also congratulations, because it was a tremendous weekend that raised a lot of money for some great charities. Unfortunately, I think we got the best weather, playing weather.
Yeah, Friday was
but you
gorgeous.
can't control the weather. Friday, I mean, that was so much fun. That course is just, I mean, it's challenging.
Oh yeah, it's
especially
sublime.
the way it was set up. But man, was that beautiful up there. If you haven't had a chance to get to the Country Club of Scranton, and you get the chance, do not miss it. You will not be disappointed. Just amazing.
It really is. And thank you guys for taking the time coming up. I had a blast hanging out with you guys for a little bit. It was cool to have some of the guys, pardon me, on the show, introduce you to them and, get acclimated with them a little bit more. Chris Wider, I did see he's over.
Yeah. So I'm in France, right? Or
yeah, he's 2 down, 2 to go in France, but he's currently T5, 4 under, 5 under total. So wishing him luck in European Tour School, Q School, as that's going. But yeah, back to the NEPA Invitational. So the goal that kind of developed just after the second year was to continually double the amount of money raised in our donations. So in the first year, 50,000, second year, 100,000, and then this third year, 200,000. And maybe just a tad bit more. It was really cute. I came home and we received a note in the mail. One of the caddies, the young caddies, donated back her tip money and said, I'm donating this to the Janet Weiss Children's Hospital. So just to see that other people are believing in the foundation and contributing and trying to support a good cause is why we started it all. And you see it starting from the bottom all the way to the top. So really great. But in terms of the tournament, like you said, our best weather was on Friday. Unfortunately, no matter how many times that we do this, we pushed it up, I think, 4 weeks earlier this year. And we still we got hit with a tropical storm. What are the chances that happens? The year prior, it was just freezing. So one of these years, we're going to get like just beautiful
3
weather.
Fridays.
Yeah,
3 days
exactly.
of Friday
3
weather.
Fridays would have been wonderful. But I'll have to put some pictures up on our story so you guys can see the job that Aaron Giordano and his entire team did there was absolutely tremendous. So it was so bad. The course was holding the water somewhat well, but this team had to work. We came off. We had to blow the horn. Everyone came off, and then we had to make the decision. Do we go back out? You have got to have flights. These pros have to leave. They have all types of stuff coming up. The AMs have to work. It's like, what are we doing on Sunday? We ended up going back out, and then there was only 3 teams or like 2.5, I should say. One was on 18 green where we had to blow the horn. There was just where the one ball landed on the green, there was just standing water everywhere.
Wow.
And we're squeegeeing it off. We're trying to make it work, but you can't putt through a puddle of water. No. So unfortunately we had to call it, but we still, awarded the pros and the AMs with, as championship, and we're able to give $200,000, which is the whole main cost. So
awesome.
Really great weekend. Again, thanks for you guys supporting coming up, and
absolutely
looking forward to it next year.
I still have my wristbands on.
I love it. Yeah, and nice. I saw you wearing the hat the other day.
The hat last week.
Trying to get free drinks in Conshohocken with that?
I'm trying to get free drinks at the 1912 Club, and it has yet to work out.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work too well.
Tell him to text me. I'll be like, yeah, come on. Tell Brian.
But yeah, we hope to be a part for a long time to come, because it is tremendous, and
appreciate it.
Very proud to be to see what you guys are doing. Very cool, very, very cool.
It's cool.
Thank you.
Grow too, from like year 1 to year 3, and what that's going to be like come year 5, 10 on down the line.
And just the thoughts, and honestly, wait, real quick with that. So this was the first year that we are a Play Yellow event, which is Jack and Barbara Nicholas's. And that story behind that is pretty cool with how that all happened. If you have a moment, just Google Play Yellow and how that came to be with Jack wearing yellow and why he did it, the story behind it. But this week is Kansas, next week's Vegas, and then that third week I think the Bears Club's under renovation, so I think it's somewhere else down here, but we are going to the Play Yellow banquet. And then we have 4 of our largest sponsors and or supporters that are coming down to play a 2-day Play Yellow tournament. And then we have a banquet that we're going to be able to go to. So supporting the Children's Miracle Network even further through that. So that's something I'm looking forward to, and we'll keep you guys up to date with in the next few weeks. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, it's the Stanley Cup and then it's the Sanderson Farms Trophy, right? That's it. It's
Right.
1A and 1B. We had
Exactly.
Sebastian Munoz on the show. He talks about how it's prominently displayed as soon as
Right.
you walk into his house. It's funny because we saw Brandon, obviously we saw each other at the Eagles game, and he said he won't miss the Pro-Am because they give out the big green egg to every person in the tournament.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's wild. And that thing weighs like 7,000 pounds. I may be exaggerating a little bit, but when we didn't take it out of the box yet, but when we moved, I had the movers like, anything else? I'm like, the egg. So I'm like, this year, I'm like, we don't need 2, honey. Send it to somebody else. But getting back to that trophy, this is the location of our esteemed honeymoon, right? So this is where we went last year. I was looking at my stories. It was hilarious. I was doing like gourmet foods, which was like an Uncrustables and like a coffee out of the little container thing or whatever. Yeah, it was hilarious. I was like, we're on an afternoon excursion, like walking through like Jackson, Mississippi. But I said to Brandon, I was like, I love that trophy. I was like, to walk in and be like, look at this big rooster
bird.
That's sitting here. I was like, it's such a great trophy. So I told him, I said, look, you were leading after day 1 last year. So let's get something going here this week.
We need that for the house, right? You need that. You need that for the foyer. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But we head to the Country Club of Jackson, Harry Mays.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the course, of course, right?
Yeah.
The second official event. This is a big one for these guys to get some points. A lot of first-time winners here. But talk about how this course sets up.
Yeah, it's CC of Jackson. It's an original design back in 1964 from a Philadelphia area architect. Dick Wilson was the original designer, and then it was redesigned in 2008 by John Vogt, where he incorporated some Donald Ross style features to the original design. But it's fairly flat land. It's really flat, actually. One of the flattest golf courses on tour that's not in Florida. Very wide open, stadium style course, 56 bunkers, and water is in play on only 5 holes. It stretches out to almost 7,500 yards, and it's a par of 72. Large greens averaging 6,200 square feet with a lot of slope and contours. In fact, it's one of the highest 3-putt percentage golf courses on the PGA Tour. So watch out for that because they're going to be running it upwards to 15 on the stimp meter, according to what I read. And I know, Country Club of Scranton was in the 14s. So we know kind of what that's like, Moose and Danielle.
Like a lot of deep.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of deep Bermuda grass rough. And that's the Country Club of Scranton.
Wow.
Or Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah. Same thing, only different.
Right.
The stat I love is 6 of the last 9 here are first-time winners. Right. So this is cool. An event that gives someone a chance to get their first W, which changes everything for these guys.
Especially late in the season like this, where you're jacking to try to finish, higher to have some starts next year.
Yeah, interesting field, right? You have Grillo, who's 35th, who's the highest ranked. He's the only player in the top 50. But the highest on the DraftKings board is Ludwig Ober. Yeah.
Yes.
So
plus 1,100. Is that what it's at?
It's still sitting at 1,100 on DraftKings right now. You have Sebastian Munoz, who we talked about, who won here. You have Sam Burns, Mackenzie Hughes. Usually you're in like that
Sergio won here.
22. Yeah, Sergio did.
Scott Stallings, Peter Malnati on that list.
I like a little Scott Stallings.
I do too.
But, let's see the line, and then we'll talk a little bit about the DP Alfred Dunhill Championship as well, with a funny story from our boy Yasser, who's playing in the Pro-Am under the name Andrew Waterman, playing under an alias.
Really?
And it took 5 seconds for I'm dying to know if they introduce him on the first tee. Is that because
and why did he choose that?
I don't know. I guess Ron Mexico was taken. He had to use that.
Is this all being done for the next Netflix special year 2? I mean, it just seems like some of the stuff, even at the Ryder Cup, I was thinking about that. Like, is this some of this contrived to be on Netflix?
Well,
we need to have Chad.
They weren't allowed. They weren't allowed to have any Netflix guys. Supposedly it was Cantlay and Xander who said that as well, but they were, like I said, who knows who's reporting this, but they said Cantlay and Xander said, no, the Netflix guys can't come for the Ryder Cup coverage. They didn't want them in the locker room.
Interesting.
Those guys. Why don't they just go to Live? Seriously, would you really miss them? I wouldn't.
Live would probably make them custom size hats.
Yeah. Right.
True. Very true. Very true. All right, well, let's see the line for this, Harry Mays. What do you like? Back on the after your Team Europe victory, you using some of that cash to spread out here for Sanderson Farm?
I am, but I'm not taking Aubert. It's too short of a
too
number
rich for my
me.
blood.
Yeah, but Mark Hubbard, I like in a top 20 at plus 210. Tom Hoagie is way down the board in a top 20 at plus 230. Great iron player. You mentioned Scott Stallings. I like him plus 400. This is a previous winner who actually not too long ago was playing some pretty darn good golf. Top 20 at plus 400. I got to jump on that.
Yep.
I'll take Grillo too to win it at plus 2,500. I think that's a nice juicy price for a guy who's playing well and a great iron player. Lee Hodges, I'm going to take him in a matchup.
Down to 22, just so you know, Harry.
Oh, really?
Bet down to 22, yeah.
All right. Well, I wrote this up last night, so he was plus 2,500. Lee Hodges plus 115 over Bo Hostler in a matchup. Lee Hodges, an Alabama guy. He knows this golf course.
And he won this year too.
Yes.
Our boy Eric Cole is third on the board, right? He's getting
he is
on the board.
Finally, my goodness.
All the value that we had riding him all year is
on his name.
It's gone.
Yep, it's gone. But yeah, Harry, Scott Stallings, he's made the cut 4 out of 5 times. He was a T3 last year. So how do I not take him in the top 5 at plus 1,600? Streelman, 2 top 10s here, 6,500, or you can take him in that top 10 for plus 550. And Norlander, top 5 2 years in a row here. So, I mean, horses for courses, you got to ride these guys and see what happens. So excited to see this one. I love seeing guys get their first win.
Yeah.
So it should be a good watch this weekend for sure.
But Danielle, you won't be there this year, huh?
Guys, I think the month of September, I slept in my bed like 3 days. I was like, I cannot wait to go home. Like, I've gotten to go to the gym, sleep in my bed, cook food in my kitchen. Like, I'm thriving right now in Jackson, Mississippi. I was like, honey, I'll meet you in Vegas. I'm going to take a week
that's
home.
what I want to ask you. Because if this week's event was the Vegas event, would you have gone?
Or
given
Bermuda.
The fact that you weren't home for a month.
Yeah, honestly, probably not. I don't know. There's an asterisk by it. There's a couple of things to consider, but yeah, I don't know. I just really was craving some time home.
Yeah,
so
good.
I was like, let me just get home. And then there's Vegas. I obviously been several times, but not for this tournament. And I haven't done Bermuda, Cabo, or Sea Island.
Yeah.
So, but I also don't know that I want to, they're not all consecutive, but I pick and choose.
The Sphere wasn't there when you were in Vegas before, though, right?
Man, you see all that YouTube footage.
Have you guys seen it yet?
I've been watching some of the videos. It's
crazy,
incredible.
Yeah,
and I thought it was. I didn't know the capacity, but it's like 18,000.
Yeah,
which is wild because it obviously
comes huge.
It's huge. It's bigger than Wells Fargo Center. I mean,
but the shows they put on is so cool looking. Like it's just.
I mean, like. That's changing the way to watch concerts now. People are going to be trying to do this stuff more and more. But I mean, that is just I can't wait to see it. I'm curious with iHeart if we're going to try to do something with the festival or because we're out there.
We need Kanye in that place if he's still whatever, because he puts on some wild shows. He could probably make that thing crazy.
Yeah. So is U2 doing like a residency there? Because it seems like they're there like for a while, which is smart. You want to open up an arena. Why not? People that like them are going to spend the money to go. That's
get Taylor Swift out there.
Oh God! If I hear her name again, I'm jumping out this window.
Oh God!
Just Google shirts that are like go the Eagles like logo on it. And it's like go. Jason, the brothers, like whatever, girlfriend, like
Travis.
Like, can you stop? Yeah. No, but I'm trying to think of what the shirt said. Like somebody sent it to me. I was like, can we not? And then all the memes, like, do you know that Taylor put him on the map? And I'm like,
what?
Jump off a bridge. Jump. You didn't see that trend on TikTok? Oh yeah.
Do yourself a favor.
They're riling up all their husbands and stuff by saying that like
Taylor
put him on. I had to yell at my employees yesterday. They're like, yeah, I mean, maybe she's not putting him on the map, but she's kind of putting the Chiefs on the map. I'm like, go home. You're dismissed. Like, I can't do it.
Do yourself a favor. Google some of the conspiracy theories. It's pretty funny. It's pretty.
There's
funny.
Conspiracy theories with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Well, and the vaccine.
Why they're doing this. She registered 40,000 voters in a day. Travis has the Pfizer commercial. I don't know. It's something to look into.
That Pfizer commercial too is
interesting.
All right, so let's go back across the pond. We haven't spent enough time there, I guess. But in addition to Andrew Waterman, playing. The pros are also playing. You have Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick, McIntyre. How about Moronk playing? Does he want to win this thing against some of these guys? And then Taylor Gooch and Billy Horschel in the field, along with many others. Alex Fitzpatrick, who I like, I think he wants to shine a little bit here. I could see him at that plus 4,500 number. I can't see. Listen, I'm sorry, Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick. I'm fading all those guys. They're partying every day. They gotta be shot. The fact that they're 1 and 2, that Fleetwood's plus 750 blows my mind. Right. I would rather go much further down the board. How about you, Harry?
I hadn't even looked at this thing. Actually, let me pull it up right now on my phone.
How about Eddie? I like Eddie Pepperell too.
He's been
playing pretty well, and he's got a really good number for him.
He has, and so has Ryan Fox, who got a win a couple of weeks ago on a very tough golf course. I might ride with Foxy to get another win at plus 1,400. You mentioned. Højgaard's brother Rasmus is in the field here. I might take him in a top 10 at plus 320. And Billy Horschel plays well when he goes over there. He might be a guy that I could take a shot at. What's his top 20 number? Let's look at
Horschel's top
plus
20.
150.
Yeah,
plus 150. I take a stab at that.
I'll tell you what. The one guy that I could see from the European team that could do well here is Robert McIntyre.
Yeah,
I think he's had a pint or two on multiple days and still played golf, and he's back at home. So I could see him showing up here.
Yeah, I think he drinks when he plays at home periodically, and as one who does that, I endorse that fully.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. We had to get you straightened out at the turn at the NEPA,
right? Well, I've been known to pack my own Yeti and sort of bring like a half a fifth in that son of a gun.
Oh my
God. Just to tee off at 8:30 in the morning.
I wouldn't be able to stand over the ball.
Well, eye opener.
All right, let's close it out with any personal golf. What do we got going on? I haven't played since the NEPA, honestly. I'm playing my club Friday, and then Harry, we have our the great folks at Lulu are hosting a little day out for our buddy Talarita, who passed away 2 years ago next Tuesday. So with family and friends, going to get a fun little round in next Friday. Looking forward to that. But how about you, Harry? Looking
very forward to that. I always love getting out to Lulu. I got a trip this weekend. It's the wife's birthday. So we're going down to the Renault Winery, the Vineyard Golf Course on Saturday, and then staying at Seaview Saturday night, playing the Bay Course on Sunday. And we'll have full recap of that on social media, pictures, the whole nine. We love the Seaview Resort. And then we're going to stay there again Sunday night and go out to dinner at some oyster place in Atlantic City that my wife raves about. It's an old school. I think it is Docks. I think it's an old school place. We'll go there on Sunday night, come back on Monday. But played my best round of the year yesterday, 1912. I had 8 pars, including on 2 of the tougher holes on the golf course. So
let's go.
Yeah, boy.
Well, make sure you see our buddy Alex McGann when
Alex McGann, absolutely.
Make sure you say hi. He treats us very, very well, and that place is just a very special place. I mean, it's such a cool resort with great golf courses. So if you're looking for some place to go for just stay a night, play 2 courses, look no further. Right, great views of Atlantic City, a lot of fun. You can head into town for dinner. So
the Pines course is great too. I know the Bay gets more of the attention because I
love the Pines.
But the Pines is terrific.
I love the Pines, especially in the middle of the summer because it's a little bit more. You get some shade.
Right.
The horse flies aren't carrying you off the course. It's crazy. Oh God. One of those horse flies, I swear it had buck teeth. I'd never seen it. I still
braces.
It's brutal. But guys, good to be back. Sorry for about last week. We were trying to get a very high profile person on the show who was in a different time zone with a pretty big job. Not the easiest.
He was committed. He was trying, but
he did a terrific job. By the way,
thank you. I think we didn't want to wake up also at 2 a.m. to do a show. We love you guys, but we need sleep.
Yeah, big time. All right, we will be back next week. We'll see if there's another first-time winner at the Sanderson's Farm Championship and who is taking home that tremendous trophy and much, much more, which everyone loves. Talk to you next week.